Dr. Ravichandran, Dr. Ganesh, students, staff, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am delighted to be here. This has been on my list for quite some time. In fact, before Dr. Ravichandran wrote to me, a couple of students had written to me 3-4 years ago to come here. And they also wrote about 4 or 5 times. And it sort of stuck on my mind that the next chance I get to go to Indore area, I must go visit IIM. So I am indeed privileged to be here with you. Dr. Ravichandran talked about my visit at Indian Business School. Rajat Gupta and other friends who started Indian Business School had organized a visit for me once, 7-8 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And I was running late. I got there about an hour and a half late. Students were all sitting there. So I got in and I asked them, I said, what do you want me to talk about? And they said, telecom, regulations, and some complicated title. So I said, you ought to be kidding. You've been waiting here for an hour and a half. It is 7:30 at night. Are you trying to impress your professor? I said, how about if I tell you a little bit about my romance with my girlfriend and the decisions that I had to make and the implication of all that for 40 years. And believe me, we talked for an hour and a half on this topic. It was, and I had never thought of it like that. It just came out looking at all these, great young, beautiful students. I also got charged up. But I won't try that on you. But I thought the best way to really look at the lessons that I have learned in life, that I could share with you, is through going through my journey with you in bits and pieces. I had a very interesting journey, and it's still going on. But in the process, I have changed, I have redefined myself, and I constantly go on redefining myself as to who I am, why I am, what do I do, why do I do it. Yeah. I think it will be interesting to just go through it, because to me, education is all about redefining yourself. You get an engineer, you get an MBA degree, you are trying to redefine yourself. It is not just about empowering yourself. As you take a job, you will again redefine yourself. If you are conscious of how you are redefining yourself and where are you headed, I think it will make a lot of sense in your journey also. Otherwise, somebody else will dictate your journey and you will lose control of it. Let me begin by saying that I was born in 1942, so I'm about 67 years old, in a little town in Orissa, tribal village, no electricity, no water, no schools, no nothing. Gujarati parents who had gone looking for work in Orissa, of all the places. I don't know why. But partly because there was drought in Saurashtra, Gujarat, in late 20s. My father was young, uneducated, 4th grade, entrepreneur, mentally, decided to leave Gujarat and go to lush green jungles in Orissa. 8 brothers and sisters, I'm the 3rd one, all born at home, delivered at home, 0 cost of delivery. 8 out of 8 mentally healthy, physically healthy. When I was born, my father told me that he used to make 20 rupees a month. And he decided to quit this job because he wanted to make 22 rupees a month. And his boss won't give him raise. So he was a big man, 6 feet. And he quit his work and had nothing to do. So finally he met in that town another businessman. He said, look, you're a good sort of, healthy guy. Why don't you take a hammer and make nails? He said, that's a good idea. So he bought a lot of wire and he decided to cut the nail, hammer it and make a nail. And this was wartime. So you could sell a lot of nails. So he was selling those nails, but he had to sell those nails to Britisher. And he couldn't speak English. So he had this thought in his mind that when my children grow up, I want them to study English. So when I was about 9 years old, Sardar Patel died. The only connection my family had with Gujarat then was Gandhiji and Sardar Patel in the newspapers. Because it used to take 5 days to go to Gujarat then. Train from Titlagat to Raipur to Nagpur to Bhusawal to Surat to Baroda to Anand to Viramgam to Surendranagar to Halwat, and then walk 14 miles to go to his birthplace. So when Gandhiji died, I still remember we all had to take a bath as if someone in the family had died. When Sardar Patel died, my parents said, these kids should go to Gujarat and study. So I was sent to a boarding school at the age of 9 with my older brother, 11. And we started our schooling there. Spent 5 years, then went to Baroda, studied in Baroda, got a BSc in physics, got a master's in physics. In the process, one fine morning on a bicycle, I'm going someplace, and all of a sudden I see this girl. She's just washed her hair and she's outside our house. And I put my brakes on and I made up my mind that that's the girl I'm going to marry. I started then planning the whole strategy as to how to go about doing it, because it turned out that this girl is a Brahmin girl and I am a sort of low caste carpenter. So you got all these Indian struggles in the family and all. Laid out a plan. The conclusion of the plan was that until I make friends with her father, I cannot have access to her. So I said, that's a good idea. I must work on that. I have a diary. I keep 45, 50 years of diary. And I have every year all documented, day by day. I still have that diary that I keep at home. I show it to my children. This is the day I said, that's the girl. Yeah. So anyway, so the planning was very much part of the process in life, right from day one. Planning meaning every day write down what needs to be done, how it will be done. And this has been going on for 50 years. Every day is all documented. So you have a black diary, and then you have another working diary, which is spiral bound, where you do all your rough work. And I have 50 years of those stored. I can go through every page of my conversation with Rajiv when I used to work with him. That this night, this is what we discussed. That's what happened. The whole history unfolds in front of you. And I do that every once in a while, just browse through it. Because that redefines myself. It's very easy to say, very difficult to follow. Most of the diaries people buy, write for first 10 days, then have few words for next 30 days, and it's all then empty.